Alafia. My name is Philip John Nymark, and I'm the founder of FIFA Foundation International. I know that I'm still kicking around, but some days it surprises me as well. Today I'd like to take a few moments of your time to tell you about a couple of new things we have at the foundation, things which I think will be the answer to your prayers, literally and figuratively. It all started when Suzanne Wenger, who created the Oshogbo Sacred Gardens in Oshogbo, Nigeria. They were dedicated to Oshun primarily, but she branched out a little bit. And she was there for 50-some years. In fact, the gardens in Oshogbo have been declared a national treasure by the United Nations. It was sometime in the 1990s that Suzanne and Vasa, my wife, Iya Vasa, met each other. Iya Vasa was beginning to sculpt, was beginning to create her own gardens. And a mutual friend had taken some photos of Vasa's work, and we were very familiar with Wenger's work. And to make a long story short, the two of them became very close friends. Vasa still carries around a opalay, that's the chain with which you divine, that was made by Suzanne for her. As a way of expressing that Vasa was an empowered woman, a woman worthy of casting Ifa. Unfortunately, Suzanne passed away about a year and a half ago. But Vasa's work went on. It went on so strongly that Robin Pointer, professor at the University of Florida, visited the gardens about 6 months ago and declared that they are the only representation of its kind in the Western Hemisphere. Indeed, we think outside of Oshogbo in the world today. The gardens contain incredible sculptures, and Vasa works on new sculptures every single day. And we're not talking about little pieces, we're talking about sculptures 16 feet tall, 40 feet long, 80 feet long. That kind of majesty, that kind of impressiveness. I invite you, by the way, to go to our site, ifafoundation.org, or to the Sacred Ifa Gardens, the Sacred Orisha Gardens, excuse me, and look at them yourself. But from time to time, we're going to be, placing more and more photographs and more content about our Sacred Orisha Gardens on site. So what does all this have to do with you? Well, if you're an Orisha worshiper, or just a very spiritual person, somebody who believes in prayer, who believes that prayer can be answered, then I think this will prove very beneficial. Because you see, in Ifa, our sculpture is not representational, it is actual. And the actual creation of all of these demigods, as it were, or Orisha as we call them, carry with it a great deal of what we call ashe. That's the personal spirit or involvement of the people with it. And through the years, and it's been 25 years or so, probably thousands of people have come through the gardens, have prayed, have done ancestor worship, have done all of the things which we're talking about as a way of asking that their wishes be granted. And indeed, we think that they will be, and we think that they are. If you, as I said, an Orisha worshiper, and you're talking about making an offering to Oshun, or if you simply want to do your ancestor worship or whatever, it's there in the gardens. But here's the thing. It no longer requires that you come to Oahu, though you're always welcome, in order to activate this prayer. Because what we've found and what we have done is create a situation where you in Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Peru, wherever it may be, who are not able to come to the gardens, can call and talk to Iavasa and explain what ebo, that means offering, you'd like to give, what prayer you'd like to say. And if, for example, it's prayer to the ancestors, then Vasa will do two things. First of all, she will send you an implementation of this prayer for you to personally have and carry around. The embodiment of that prayer, in other words. But more important, she will take this prayer and place it in the sacred garden that's appropriate. And it will reside there as a way of amplifying, carrying out, making more powerful your prayer to whatever it is. We ask quite seriously that you don't do these things frivolously, and Vasa will moderate some of them. But think about growth, think about health, think about family, think about your ancestors whose shoulders you stand on top of. Think about wisdom and knowledge. Think about the long term. And construct your prayers, your ebos, your offerings around those. And watch your prayers and your offerings will be answered. So what you do is you contact the Iavasa. We have an 800 number. You can get it on our site, www.ifafoundation.org, or you can just go through and take a look at what we have to offer. But remember the new embodiment of prayers answered, because this is the medium to make it happen. Until next time, my love and blessings.